بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أحييكم بتحية الإسلام تحية من أهل الجنة تحية من عند الله مباركة طيبة وهي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, the theme of today's khutbah is التواضع رفعة لو كانوا يعلمون. Humility or humbleness elevates someone both in this world and in the hereafter if actually people know the secret behind being humble. That is the theme of the khutbah. That is why Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself mentioned in the Quran that the Jannah, those that will inherit it are those that are humble. In the Quran, Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Qasas, where He mentioned that تِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ نَجْعَلُهَا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُرِيدُونَ عُلُوًّا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فَسَادًا وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. That is the last home, which is Al-Jannah. That is the day of resurrection. Those that will be successful in it, He mentioned that that is the last home which will be assigned to those who desired not uluwan, exaltedness, self-conceit, and so some things of its equivalent. Those that desired not arrogance on the face of the earth, and as well corruption, those are the ones that will be given, that Jannah will be given to, meaning those that are humble, not those that are arrogant. And Jannah is not meant for those that are arrogant. That is why even the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that whoever have an atoms or a weight of an atom of arrogance will not enter Jannah. من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. He mentioned لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. Anyone who has an atom of arrogance will not enter Jannah. That's why even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said earlier mentioned تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. And also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam فيما روى مسلم من حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. Abu Hurairah, that is Abdul Rahman bin Safar al-Dawsi, he narrated the hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned these three statements. One, ما نقصت صدقة من مال, that your wealth can never be decreased because of the charity that you give. Anytime you give charity, Allah increase your wealth for you. ما نقصت صدقة من مال وما زاد الله عبدا بعفو إلا عزا. That Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the virtue of a person who always forgive or pardon someone, Allah increase that person in higher rank. Almighty Allah increase him in honor. Say, مَا زَادَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا بِعَفْوٍ إِلَّا عِزًّا. There is no servant of Allah who forgive other people or pardon them except that Allah increase him in honor. Allah increase him in rank. For that, if you want Allah to increase in honor, learn to all to forgive people. Then the point of reference here is وَمَا تَوَاضَعَ أَحَدٌ لِلَّهِ إِلَّا رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. There is no one who humbled himself for the sake of Allah. Just for the sake of Allah, you humble yourself, except that Allah will elevate you in status. Allah will elevate you in rank. Allah denied the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, the one whom does not make a statement from his self-desire except by the revelation revealed to him from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Also, regarding to this, Allah Azza wa Jalla advised us in the Quran, and it's also incumbent upon every believer that وَخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. You should lower your wings, meaning you should be kind, you should show kindness to the believers. He also mentioned in another ayah, that is in Surah Al-Shu'ara, وَخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِمَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Lower your wings, show kindness to those who follow you of the believers. Allah addressed the Prophet ﷺ about that also, and the Prophet ﷺ, as narrated by Iyad ibn Himar, may Allah be pleased with him, he mentioned that indeed, that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that indeed Allah revealed to me that you should be humble to one another, in a way that no one boasts on the other or no one transgresses on the other. And also even Allah mentioned encouraging us to be humble. He said, "Mother, وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا." Don't walk on the face of the earth marahan, in a boastful manner. وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Don't walk on the face of the earth in a boastful manner as if you own the earth. It's just a permanent place. Definitely, a day shall come which each and every one of us shall depart from this earth. For that, there is no point of being arrogant or kind of show arrogance to one another. Because humbleness is a great virtue which increases a person in dignity, it increases in high rank, it also increases in superiority and high esteem. That is why our righteous predecessors, like our Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they always show humility, humbleness to one another. And they are also our role model, as the Prophet ﷺ is a role model to them. Also, those and the Prophet ﷺ himself is our role model, which we need to imitate. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Allah has made the Prophet ﷺ as a role model for us to imitate. The statement of Mother regarding to one of the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, whose name is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. May Allah be pleased with him. What he used to do, part of his norms, his culture, or for you to know the level of his humbleness, just an example of him. He said, "Now, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, there is an old poor woman whom he used to pay visits. The woman is old and as well is poor to the extent our scholars say that she's even blind. She has no one to help her, but Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq will pay her visits, sweep her house for her. He will sweep it, her tent, he will sweep it, clean the home, and as well prepare food for him. While at that time he was the leader of the believers. That is Sayyidina Abu Bakr when Siddiq, who succeeded the Prophet ﷺ after the Prophet's demise. He will do all these things. He will visit her, sweep her house for her, and as well cleanse her home for her, and as well prepare food for her to the extent until she eat the food and satisfy, and as well milk her sheep for her, in order for her to be able to take some milk. That is Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. For you to know how humble he is, though he bring himself, he bring himself to her shoes. For that, you have to bring yourself down, break yourself before Allah Azza wa Jalla. Also, an example or a parable regarding to Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, who used to also assist an old woman also carrying her flour on his back. And will also go to the woman who has no food in her home to give to the orphans. Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab will be the one to carry flour, that is the food that she will eat and also give to the children also. that the woman has no food in her home, and again they are orphans under her care, which has nothing to give to them. Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab will carry flour and take to them, will also even try to light the fire for them, to lit the fire, and as well, وَظَلَّ يَنْفُخ, he will be the one to blow the fire until the food is done. And again, he won't leave the place until they eat and satisfy with the food before he can leave that particular environment. Also, one of our righteous predecessors, whose name is Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, one day he was sitting with one of his visitors at the time of his leadership. One of his visitors that came to pay him visit. While they were sitting discussing at a table discussion, the light just went off. What happened? He himself, he stood up by himself and fixed the light. Then the visitor now asked him, why would you be the one to do all these things? Oh, you Amirul Mu'mineen, why can't you command me to do it for you? Or you invite someone who will fix the light from your slaves. He said, he, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, now mentioned that Umtu ana Umar, I stood from my seat to fix the light. I remained Umar, and I returned back to my seat. I still remain Umar. It reduced nothing from me, and that the best of people in the sight of Allah are those who are humble. For that, you have to humble yourself, because Allah loves that. Because Jannah is not meant for people that are arrogant. Jannah is meant for people that are humble. Al-Mada, people al-du'afa wal-masakin, people that are humble, and the most of the poor people of the world. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, also an example is cited regarding to our role model Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was given a choice of being. He was given two things to choose from the two. He was given a choice to choose between him being a servant of Allah and as well a messenger, or being a king as well a messenger of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because of his hatred regarding to position of authority, doesn't like to be in a position of dictatorship. What he did, فَاخْتَارَ أَنْ يَكُونَ عَبْدًا رَسُولًا. He chose to be a servant of Allah Azza wa Jalla and as well a messenger. He does not choose to be a king or the leader or the one in the position of authority. Why did he do this? He did this out of humbleness for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. He did it for the sake of Allah. And as a result of that, Allah elevated him. He's now our role model. Anyone you see him maybe talking anything regarding Islam, they'll say the Prophet ﷺ said. The Prophet ﷺ said. How is the one we are now imitating? That is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ummuna Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. She was one day asked regarding to the activities that the Prophet ﷺ used to do within the home. Because the Sahaba know about the Prophet when he's outside his home. But when he's within the home, only his wives that they can consult to get some knowledge from them. She was asked regarding to the activities of the Prophet ﷺ, what the Prophet ﷺ used to do at home. She said, إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي مِهْنَةِ أَهْلِ, that the Prophet ﷺ used to keep himself busy assisting his family. He used to assist them as the way some of us look at it. When we get home, what we ask is the food ready, and other things. The Prophet is not after that. When he comes to the home and realize that the home is not fixed, he repaired by himself. When they are cooking, he helped them in the cooking. When they are washing plate, he helped them in the washing of the plate. If it's clothes they are washing, also he helped them. Also, that Prophet he bring himself to the mother, he bring himself to their shoes. Also, he helped them in everything. The Aisha now said that فَإِذَا حَضْرَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, when it's time for prayer, he immediately give up everything he's doing within the home and go and do the prayer. Because that's the first thing. The right of Allah is the first thing that someone has to execute. Before anything, the Prophet ﷺ will not delay the prayer. He quickly leave the home and go and pray. And again, part of his culture, or part of his norms, or his character is that he used to milk sheep by himself. He does not invite slave to go and milk the sheep or before he drink it. Also, when his slippers is cut, he fixed it by himself. He sewed it by himself. But we feel this is I am beyond this. I can't do this thing. I'm more than even to even take to even put on slippers and other things. The Prophet ﷺ will put it on, and when the shoe is cut, he fixes it by himself. And the Prophet ﷺ also has never allowed his clothes down or sweeping the ground out of arrogance. That's why he himself he even mentioned that mother Allah will not look at a person a look of mercy. There is pleasant look on the day of resurrection to those who allow their clothes down out of arrogance. Prophet ﷺ discouraged people from that. He's not arrogant. For that we have to imitate him. And again, part of his character is that the Prophet ﷺ used to eat with his slaves, with his servant, with his maid. You eat with them. It reduce nothing from you from one day to even sit with your servant, with your gate man, or your maid, to say that let me even eat with them in a way that so that you yourself you feel or you put yourself in their position. The Prophet ﷺ used to do that. And he used to go to the market to buy things by himself and he would carry it in his hand to the extent when people even met him on the road to collect the load, he will not allow that. He will carry it by himself and bring it home. That is the Prophet ﷺ. And again, he initiates taslim to anyone whom he gets in contact with. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. He never belittle anybody. The way he treats an elderly person, like why he treats the young ones. And again, he gives them handshake. Also, he never differentiates or discriminates between young and old, black, yellow, red, or fair, slave, or a free person. The Prophet ﷺ has never done that, discriminate anybody. For that, humility, humbleness can be initiated. You can initiate it through knowing the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jalla and knowing the names of Allah and His attributes. Also, the areas that someone can humble himself is that one, at-tawadhu' ma'a Allah Azza wa Jalla. You should humble yourself with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Humble yourself in a way that whatever Allah commands you to do it for the sake of Him. Whatever He discourages you from doing it, also abstain from that thing. Be shy of Allah when you are about to commit a sin. If you have all these things, then you are being humble to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Also, you have to be humble in your dressing. Don't be exorbitant. Don't be too exorbitant or don't be too exorbitant in your dressing. Spending too much in your dressing. Yes, there is nothing wrong in you, mother, buying an expensive clothes, but it should not be of high or being extravagant in wealth, because that is fasad. Those that waste money, waste wealth of Allah Azza wa Jalla, those ones are the company of shaitan. They are brothers of shaitan, as Allah mentioned, كانوا إخوان الشياطين. Don't be too exorbitant in your dressing, and also don't be too economical, because إن الله جميل يحب الجمال. Allah is handsome and He loves something that is beautiful. Yes, there is nothing wrong in you dressing, looking so nice. There is nothing wrong with that. But to be too exorbitant, that is what we are being discouraged. And also, don't be too economical in a way that you have the money, you will not spend on yourself and you will not spend on people. You are just accumulating the wealth in your bank account. That one is also being discouraged. And also, don't be arrogant or being boastful while you are working as if you own the earth, while you create nothing. For that, be humble in your movement. Be humble in everything. Be intermediate. Also, being humble with those that Allah placed them above you. Those that Allah placed them, choose them above you, be humble to them. In your offices, at home, or in any places. Those that when Allah choose them to be above you, that is your principals, your boast and other things. Islam encourages you to be humble to them. Don't be arrogant to them. Islam discourages arrogance. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. As you are obeying Allah, you also obey the Prophet ﷺ, and also you obey those in the position of authority, except if they direct you to disobey Allah. لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. At that time, you cannot compromise with them again, because there is no obedience to the creation at the expense of disobedience of the Creator. For that is regarding to that, you have to be submissive, be humble to those that Allah placed them above you, those in the position of authority, our leaders. We have to be humble to them. Also, Islam also encourages you to be humble with your wives also. It's not that you bring yourself completely down, let them be the one to dictate at home. No. But there are times that, yes, you have to humble yourself when you offend, when you are wrong. Submit. Yes, admit your mistake. Yes, please, I wrong you. Please, forgive me. There is nothing wrong with it. Humble yourself in a way that maybe the daily activities, the home activities, sweeping, washing of plates, washing of clothes, sometimes help them. It will decrease you, not rather, it will elevate you. It will make them to respect you more. Do it sometime, once in a while, help them in it. The room is dirty. Take the broom and sweep it. They are washing clothes and you have the time, help them in it. Bathing the baby, do it. It will decrease you, not. Rather, it will elevate your status in this world. And Allah also love that. You also have a reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla for doing that. For that, help them. Don't belittle them or always give. Always be the one to dictate in everything you dictate. Just dictate. Dictatorship. That is not good at all. Also, you have to also bring yourself down or humble yourself with children also. Being humble to children also. When you see children at home, on the street, while you are walking, extend your taslim to them. The Prophet ﷺ used to do that. Assalamu alaikum, you greet them. In fact, even if you see the child, maybe you are walking on the road, you observe that child is not greeting. Extend your taslim to him and call him to order. Come. When you see an elderly person, always say Assalamu alaikum. He has learned from you. He will tell you next time, and you will also tell others. As he is doing that, you also have your reward for that. And if care is not taken, that will be his habit continuously. You continue doing till his old age. For that, we have to be humble to them, extend the taslim to them, and you correct them, because you also address him that maybe you address him at all the children. Tell them that the Prophet ﷺ said that, and a young person should be the one to say salam to the elderly person. You said him Sadiq al Kabir by the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. Then you learn from that. Learn to also correct them. Also, humble yourself to your servants. Yes, it's not every time, maybe the kind of your relationship is not with your servant, is not being close, that is not good at all. Relate with them. Let them feel important. Let them not feel so inferior as they are not important in the society. Let them feel they are important, because when you sit with them, eating with them, they will feel, oh, they themselves, they are even important, and they will respect you more for doing that. Also, humble yourself, being humble regarding to your close relatives. Your close relative, relate with them in a respectful way. Humble yourself to them, assist them in whatever they need. Anytime they call you, if you have nothing to give to them, talk to them in a way that they will feel kind of tranquility in their hearts. If you don't have something to give to them, you also shout on them. That is not good at all. Islam discourages that. If you have nothing to give to person, to smile to the person itself is sadaqah. You have a reward of someone who has given that charity. Someone requests something from you, please, I need these particular things, and you know that you don't have it to give to the person. Don't shout because maybe you are angry because they don't have it. You start shouting unnecessarily. Islam discourages that. Maybe he or she phone you, please, I need an assistance from you. allow the person to explain him or herself first before you give an answer. Because you have maybe you think the person is asking for money, because when they say I need an assistant, what comes to our mind is that the person needs money from us. Maybe you don't have that, you refuse to allow the person to explain himself, you start shouting, I don't have this. No, no, no. Islam discourages that. Let the person explain himself. If it's something you can assist, it might be that it's not money he needs from you, another assistance, maybe connection and other things, and you have that connection, but because of the shout, they have shouted at the person, you discourage him from explaining himself, and you will not be able to do that, but you allow him to say that, and again, maybe you might even have that chance to do that, but you talk to them in a low tone, and again you encourage them. That is also good. Also being humble to your neighbors, because also neighbors has right upon us also, for us to be humble to them. We respect them. Put yourself in their shoes, and again anytime they are in a state of mother grief, or yes, you contribute mother, you assist them in it, let them feel safe while living with you, because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, inna sharra an-nasi manzilatan 'inda Allah yawm al-qiyamah, the one who have the worst abode with Allah on the day of resurrection are those whom their neighbors are not free from their evils. For that, be humble to your neighbors, they have right upon you also. Then being humble with those that you get in contact with them in your working place, your co-workers. Be humble to them. Whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, relate with them in a good manner. In a good manner, Islam encourages that. Don't relate to them because this one is a non-Muslim, let me just relate with him anyhow, or let me be harsh to him. No, no, no. Islam encourages good character. ماذا أكثر الناس ما يدخل الناس الجنة ما تقوى الله وخلق حسن. The most thing that takes some people to Jannah is the consciousness of Allah and good character. Relate with people even if they are non-Muslims. That is the justice of Islam. Also being humble to those that the disabled people, let me put it in that way, those that maybe their creation is not, maybe you look at it as they are being tested with a kind of calamities, people with no hand, blind people, people with kind of deficiency in their creation. Relate with them, let them feel important in the society. Let them not feel so inferior. And again, don't call them by that name. Maybe, oh, you this guru and other things. He will not like it. If you are doing that, you make them feel so inferior. Extend taslim. Say taslim to them. Assalamu alaikum. You say blind person, assalamu alaikum. Person of handicap, assalamu alaikum. If possible, shake hand with them. Yet not even if possible. You have to do that. If you do that, you have put kind of tranquility in their heart, and doing that you have reward of someone who has given sadaqah, because it's like putting a smile or happiness in the heart of a person. For that, you have to also do that. We ask Allah to grant us understanding, and as well we ask Allah to restore peace and security in the nation, and to also save people from the state of hunger and those calamities that we are facing, kidnapping and so many things. All the things they are doing, Allah is watching. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُم لِيَوْمٍ تَشْخَصُ فِيهِ الْأَبْصَارُ. Don't think Allah is heedless regarding to what the oppressors are doing. Allah is giving them respite, is prolonging for them to the time that if all eyes will be open, that is the day of resurrection. If Allah wish, you will handle them to the authority in this world, they will be punished, and on the day of resurrection, Allah will hold them accountable. لِيَحْمِلُوا أَوْزَارَهُمْ كَامِلَةً يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. They will be accountable for their sin of depriving people freedom and so many things. We ask Allah to grant us to restore peace and security to the nation. Assalamu alaikum.